Welcome back, readers, angels, ancestors, aliens, archons. Please oversee the randomness of this shuffle because we're about to deal another game of Gypsy Poker. This is the fourth installment of me reading tarot. I've been reading a lot of books on how to read tarot. I've been reading a lot of tarot. You only get better by doing, right? So, the way I deal this is something I came up with, which is a 6-card read. It is, I just like to cut it a few times before I do it. Who, what, when, where, why, how. And the way that we do that is past, present, future, over, under, sideways, down, when will it end? Do. All major arcana so far. Wow, it's a good shuffle. Now we do the higher octave, the lower octave. And how. This is an interesting how, especially given these cards. Okay, I'll explain what I think this means. She's reading Torah. It says Torah on it. These high priestess, these occult cards are actually referencing things like Shakespeare, Judaism, Christianity. We can get into that. I did study religious studies and philosophy. She has a cross. She's reading Torah. So she's Old Testament. She is Christian. These two pillars here, she is the third pillar. See that? It's the northwest corner of her brand new crescent moon. Sunflowers? No, they're fruits. There's fruit growing behind the high priestess. And she is the embodiment of mysticism, the embodiment of spiritual understanding from the perspective of the feminine, obviously. She got the black tower, the white tower. She's interpreting endlessly the paradoxes inherent in life if you understand spirituality at a deep level. She grapples with that. It's like the hallways, Cortez the killer. That's what reminds me of the high priestess. Wandering through the hallways with the secrets of the world. That's my girl here. Homegirl. Love this as a past. The present is acceptance. I hate lapsing into tautology, but that's kind of what this card means. It is what it is. Just kind of, but it's angelic. This is an archangel of some sort, and he's in a very fertile place with a path leading towards the sun, standing between the land and the water. This is the earth, which is the action, meeting the water, which is the emotion, and balancing these two things. We can get into the triangle and the trinities represented, or the dualities that are transcended by this third thing, because this guy is the 14th card. This is the 14th embodiment of the Fool. High Priestess is the second. This is where you go right after you start, because the Fool is actually 0. So there's 2 before. This is the third. The second is the third in tarot. Oh, that makes me so happy, because the Fool isn't 1. The Fool is 0. The Fool is all of them. The beginning is the end, and it's called the Fool. This is the journey of the Fool. I'm a pretty foolish person myself. I benefit from the temperance I'm receiving from this particular reading. The future is death. Now, people would say this is a sad card. I'm very happy to pull this card. This is the first time I've pulled death in my 3 days reading. The death card, you see the little child looking up at death? That's my favorite thing. It's got the white flag, the 5s, and he's the skull riding a stallion. He's got the skull and crossbones. There's the old man, the priest, kind of begging for mercy. There's the dead people beneath him. There's a sad, dead young woman, sad, dead old man. I mean, presumably sad. But the sun's coming up in the background. There's towers. This is the opportunity for closure, for rebirth. This could be the death of something that's not working. Like I've been feeling sad recently. So if I'm trying to ask tarot for direction, this could be a relieving card because it could say, you're done with that phase, you're transcending. You're at a crossroads and you're going to be reborn into something that more closely resembles your true nature, which is clarified by the high and low frequency. I talk about octaves. That's another thing from astrology. I'm studied in Vedic astrology mainly, although I like the zodiac, the tropical sidereal zodiacs of the ancient Greeks. Uh, we can talk about different kinds of astrology once I can afford different decks. The Hermit being the high one, after death, you have to go into your chrysalis, become a butterfly, right? You don't want to just be a deformed caterpillar. You got to go away from everybody because you are the high priestess, using your temperance, choose a new direction, are reborn, and you have to gestate. You don't want to rush it, or else you're not going to get properly formed. That's the higher octave. The Hermit, you have to figure out how to fill your lantern with light so that you can guide everybody out of the darkness. The lower octave is the Wheel of Fortune again. Now we have Tarot here. We have Torah here. Rota, like rotation. We got this twice. I shuffle very thoroughly. So, this is the card of fate versus free will. Represented are the signs of the Pharaoh, the, what's the coyote god? Anyway, you got Scorp, Aquarius, Leo, Sag, chilling on clouds. I think those are like the fixed, maybe the Earth. I think those are the fixed signs. They're not the cardinal, they're not the mutable. They're probably the 4 fixed signs. There's fixed signs, mutable signs, cardinal signs, and then there's air, earth, sun, and water. I've only been studying these particular archetypes for a few days. I'll get the hang of it, guys. If you haven't noticed, I've been doing a lot of reading about this stuff in the last couple days. I'm like a sponge, motherfucker. Hierophant. Hermit mode. Watch out. This is your how. And this is a really bad how. This was such a promising read up until I got to the how, and this is one of the saddest cards. But it kind of jives with the Hermit being humbled by the Wheel of Fortune. This is a card of sickness. I'm going to the hospital for an infusion very soon. I have a cavity in my tooth I have to get fixed. It's about physical sickness and poverty. But it's also, there is refuge in the church, right? In the priestess. Even in death, there is refuge. There's peace. So this is a depressing how. Your how is poverty. Your how is sickness. But being the high priestess, you have studied that that is the shortest path, because the sadistic, the masochistic impulses, the ascetics, right? The religious people tend to be ascetic, including the priestess here. So poverty, sickness, those are 2 out of the 3 things that made the Buddha enlightened. The other one is thanks, readers. Thanks for listening. This is my second take. The 4th one's going to be a real doozy, I bet. See, the first one sucks, but the real OGs stick around for the second one. I'm going to cut it here. I could do 4 for 4, but I think I'll do 4 separate readings. So that's what I'll do. Okay. Alright, Krishna, you dirty, stinking bitch. Come make out with me. I'm in Quincy. I need to